Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. This is the Overwatch Rumble. We're going to get started with the group stages in just a moment. 2 days and a ridiculous amount of action featuring some of, if not all of, the best North American teams. We're going to be kicking off Group A here. I'm Jorisar. With me is Ask Joshi, and we have CLG versus Rogue to start us off.
I have to call out John immediately because he said he was going to open the show with "Let's get ready to rumble" in his best buffer voice, and he didn't do it.
In my defense, Joshi, I heard going to you guys in 5, and then I didn't hear anything until 1. But I'll do it later. I'll do it when we start the map. I'm feeling.
Do it when we least expect it. Just throw it out in the middle of a cast. Anyway, we've got our $10,000 weekend event has finally arrived. We're here for Group A, and Rogue versus CLG is just the first of many BO3s today. Jorisar, I almost called you John. What a weird thing that would be. Jorisar and I are casting 4 BO3s to kick off the day today, and Storm and Herix will be here for the second half of the broadcast to bring you groups C and D. But Group A is consisting of Rogue, Rise Nation, Complexity, and CLG. Rogue obviously are on something like a 27 match streak. I read that today. I didn't verify it, but I'm pretty sure it sounds accurate. So Rogue still king of the mountain, so to speak, in online North American tournaments, and Envious are in Group D, so they're looking to play the spoiler perhaps in the playoff brackets tomorrow. But CLG have been on the rise as well. Their Pharah Mercy combo with Hydration and V has actually gotten them to this point, basically. Of course, the rest of CLG helped out, but that is kind of I would say a trademark feature of CLG's offense at this point.
No, you're completely and absolutely right there, Joshi. This is the, hopefully, unstoppable force versus immovable object. It is 5 seconds left to go. Our first B of 3, we'll roll with that, is on Watch Point Gibraltar. Ladies and gentlemen, the Overwatch Rumble starts now.
Excellent. So as we get out the gates, you can see Rogue's offense. They're running with a dive composition. AKM going to be playing the soldier as sort of that flex position. Sometimes with dive, you can see a Pharah come out. Sometimes you can see a second tank, but it's going to be soldier here for Gibraltar to deal with all those high ground threats over on the defense, where you see CLG all posted up here, basically playing triple tank plus soldier defense themselves. The cart itself moving through car wash freely. They're not going to engage until they're all the way up the ramp.
We're moving in with Winston to try and dislodge, but the tanks do have quite a lot going for them on top there. Miso left as the sole diva as Winston goes ahead and moves down. Hydration also looking for an odd hook, missing it though as Nico tries to get in the belly.
Well, we've got Waffle-tastic already the first person down. Unko is going to bite the bullet as well, so it's a 5v5 situation. The card itself not really being fussed over. It's really this high ground defense from CLG that's trying to address threats as they come in. You can see Genji, Nico actually helping out to take out that Diva suit there, and Pulse Bomb goes flying out here from Soon. He finds Ana on the defensive side. There's a Boostio already in play. The first nano boost of the game goes to Mikado, but it looks like CLG are still holding strong here. They've got 5 bodies left on the cart, and Rogue are going to get reset.
Rogue were trying to wrap around CLG there, but unfortunately seemed to get picked off one by one, and their flankers did manage to get individual kills, but then ended up dying themselves, taking a look at Soon, for example, with the Pulse Bomb. So they will be regrouping for round 2. The Boostio there, maybe the sign of a little bit of warm-up, but we will be seeing now the second engagement as Rogue regroup on the high ground.
Here's a tactical visor from AKM to kick things off. They're going to try and get over on the high ground as quickly as possible, but Miso, as the diva, getting right up in the face of that tactical visor, shuts down a lot of its potential. Hydration and Waffle-tastic both down on CLG. They're missing an Ana as well. Miso trying to survive as long as he can here with Mikado, but as they fall to Nico's Dragon Blade, the cart is finally going to get freed up, and they will reach the checkpoint in just about 2 minutes time. So 4.5 minutes here for the second stretch. CLG are somewhat staggered. Hydration gets the hook on Nox and does get the kill, but CLG still trying to get together here. The, unfortunately, on the Ana gets popped again by Soon's Tracer, who is just on a rampage already here for Rogue.
Trading kills at the moment, definitely good for Rogue because CLG are just trying to regroup, and every second they buy, of course, gets the cart one step further in the shuttle phase. Nobody on top at the moment as Rogue have completely dominated. AKM chucking a Helix rocket into the mix there, but Diva coming on in to shut him down, and together with Winston should be enough to get the DPS off the top of the shuttle. But here comes Zenyatta coming in with Transcendence. Rogue looking for a couple of picks while this happens, and they're going to counter that with the sound barrier.
Sound Barrier plus Whole Hog actually combining there for CLG to actually take out Soon's Tracer. That was a big pickup for them, but Nico's got his Dragon Blade out again, and he's got a Sound Barrier of his own to work with. So Rogue doing a great job surviving the attacks from CLG and then just countering with 2 ults of their own. They collect all the kills they're looking for. Suddenly, it's just iShiny. He's nowhere close to a Primal Rage as he had just used it. So he's going to try to contest at the last second, but I can't imagine he'll have too much staying power with that Orb of Discord. iShiny already down.
Staggering those ultimates went brilliantly for Rogue. Of course, the Sound Barrier was kind of countering the Transcendence, but then Rogue came in over the top with their own Sound Barrier, and the follow-up fight was 100% theirs. A little bit more delay coming in here from Miso, who seems very isolated at the moment. Unfortunately, the rest of the team opting not to come out and help, and the cart now gets on the way.
Wow, they've got 4.5 minutes here for the last stretch too, and no one is actually pushing the cart here except for Wins on the lone Lucio because Rogue are getting so aggro with it. Soon finds another kill onto V's Ana. He's just been struggling really hard so far this game, but it's just a credit to Rogue knowing who they have to dive and how to get the job done over and over. So CLG, so far, they just need to protect their supports better. Rogue are all the way up in the faces of the spawn door as CLG try to regroup.
Coming up the other side now, Miso leading with the defensive matrix to try and kick people off the top there, but Winston immediately following, and that is an excellent play there, stopping D.Va from getting AKM down onto the ground, and the first 2 kills are going to Rogue. This is going to end up being a very strong team fight. Dog's now picking up a second for himself as well, as the cart continues to more or less free wall. Wow. Excellent pulse bomb, and that is basically a team kill. Miso not able to get back there in time.
How did they do it? They just completely deflected all those tanks. They didn't even have to use ultimates to do it. AKM's going to use the Tech Visor, and Primal Rage is going to be used by Nox to make sure that the cart finds its parking spot. But 3.5 minutes left for those extra rounds. They did not look to be in trouble at all, except for 1 hold at the beginning of point A. After that, it was just full lawnmower mode for Rogue as they just rolled right over the top of CLG's defense. But CLG will have, of course, a chance to counter that as we flip sides back. That's a pretty incredible time that Rogue set, so CLG will have their work cut out for them. But who knows? All it takes is a couple of early picks, and you could get checkpoint A pretty quickly if you happen to stagger them in the shuttle phase. Sometimes you can breeze right through there, as Rogue did. So still anybody's game here, but Rogue obviously off to a hot start.
CLG on their defensive, obviously hindsight is 20/20, but trying to come in with those 1 or 2 heroes that continuously stall at the end of shuttle phase, they might have been better off trying to regroup there, because Rogue just had on top of the shuttle, AKM was there ready, and it was just so difficult once Rogue actually got that positioning, and I feel like bleeding in from CLG kind of cost them a chance to stabilize on the final point. 3.5 minutes is a long time, so I'm not sure they're looking to beat the time, but they're certainly looking to finish and then try and take it to a round 2.
Yeah, extra rounds can also be kind of crazy, as sometimes some cheesier compositions will pop up, Bastions and Maze and things start to get involved. But yeah, this is really going to be a tough one for them, I think. Rogue here on the defense are running that full dive again with AKM on the Soldier, and CLG locking in some heroes early. I don't expect Mikado to be on the Hanzo, as he is normally their Lucio player, but perhaps he'll launch a Sonic Arrow just to figure out the enemy positioning to start us off. But the high ground defense for CLG, they played a very recessed position, and because they lost 1 team fight, they gave up the checkpoint. Rogue seemed to be setting up a much farther forward here, and looks like they're going to be addressing the cart immediately once these doors open.
And the Sonic Arrow looks like is going to be coming out from Mikado. CLG on their own offensive half. What can they do against Rogue, who set a rather blistering time to start things off here, immediately moving back onto the Lucio, as you predicted there, Joshy, as we get onto the card. Still staying on the high ground is Rogue right now, and soon manages to get himself picked up very early on here, which is excellent news, but AKM coming in to even the score.
Oh, Biotic Grenade from Rogue's side actually hit many of the CLG members, and AKM actually got 2 kills just in that quick succession there. Miso is going to lose his D.Va suit and have to bounce back towards spawn as well, and Rogue have actually grabbed control of the cart. Soon's already back in play as Tracer. He ate an unfortunate hook combo to start the round off, but the fact is he's back and the cart hasn't moved.
This is so strong coming out of Rogue, and so much of it is also just dependent on the constant damage being done by AKM. Finally, he gets the Discord Orb on him, and he can't do quite as much damage, but Nico is there ready to pick up the pieces on Genji, and he's already got his Tac Visor ready as well. Basically, this card hasn't moved, and AKM is doing so much damage into the backline.
Well, even there, Hydration find another kill. He's gotten one Soon kill and one Nico kill to his credit so far, but CLG, even with these tanks, they're unable to even dive onto the squishier backline with Zenyatta and Ana both up there. Now we've got a bit of a split fight here. Miso does find Zenyatta in the backline, but Soon sticks another pulse bomb. Waffle-tastic out of the picture here. Soon gets taken out, and suddenly CLG have a 5 versus 4 advantage, and their spawn is much closer, so if they're ever going to break through, this would be a good time to do it. Nano Visor from AKM, though, helps sweep the streets. Even Hydration is not going to survive here, and what looked hopeful as a 5v4 is already dashed.
The choices of when to use the ultimates from Rogue have just been really good. I like the fact that Soon was waiting on the right-hand side as well, just looking for that 6v5 engagement. And CLG, when they managed to deny that, seemed to be doing all right for a while, and it looks like AKM with the nano visor, that was required for them to win the fight. But they managed to do that quite cleanly, and the cart now is this is like already too much stall for them to get close to this time set.
There's a bunch of ults coming up here for CLG. iShiny's Primal Rage is going to have to be definitely necessary to engage with, and you hear Tactical Visor going off. It's Waffle-tastic actually in an interesting position. Not a ton of things to shoot at, unfortunately. Transcendence is going to come out from Winds to try and keep everyone alive. Transcendence on both sides now to counter Nico's Dragon Blade, but the cart, again, still has not even gone down the ramp yet. A couple of kills there. Nico, Soon, and knocks all down, so CLG finally getting some advantage.
Miso now feeling a little bit more comfortable in being able to body block basically so much of the DPS from Rogue, and the payload will finally go through Car Wash. This is actually looking like a really nice concerted push from CLG. The big question now is going to be, will Rogue get set up in time in the shuttle room and be able to mount a second defense there, or will CLG find a way to snowball?
Well, Soon is trying to contest the cart here. Miso did a good job actually blocking one of those exits, but now Rogue are starting to trickle out into the checkpoint area, and that's a problem because the squishies are not being defended very well against Nico's Genji. Their AKM is going to be the first one down. Miso does find another kill onto Winds. The cart itself is being basically stomped on by Nox's Primal Rage Winston, so it just cannot move forward. Diva Suit Explosion doesn't get anything, but CLG do find the kills they need to enter the hangar phase. And getting a look at the spawns here, Rogue are not going to be caught in the same trap that CLG were. The staggered kills meant that everyone spawned in the far back already. AKM was the first one down, so he actually had time to sprint all the way back to his team. And Rogue do have some time to set up, unlike CLG on their defense.
Now, Miso at least will be able to start contesting the high ground while Rogue busy get themselves set up. So we have got the cart pushing about halfway through the shuttle phase already. He did such a good job looking for Zenyatta, finding him in the backlines, which is great, but they're still finding kills in the front. Our Rogue at the moment, and Miso can't do that all himself. AKM chipping in with one, and Zenyatta getting a last hit as well.
The cart itself is under heavy fire from Winston, Tracer, and Ana, all kind of acting as a unit, while basically everyone else on Rogue is kind of spread out and cross-firing down at them. AKM specifically has not really been touched so far in this second stretch, but there's only 2.5 minutes left here for CLG. They've again generated all their ultimates. It could be a winning game plan here against Rogue to just have 6 ults available every time you try to take a fight, but Rogue have 5 of their own already lined up, so we're definitely going to see some fireworks here, Jorisar.
And Soon is camping out in the corner looking for those targets to stick the pulse bomb. There's the stick. Waffle-tastic goes down. Transcendence not going to be able to block that much damage instantly done there. So he gets the first pick, and they weren't expecting that at all. So 6v5, and now we have a little bit of a snowball. There's some trading going on, but most of the kills are now going Rogue's way.
Well, Miso gets popped out of the suit. Baby Diva, even if he survives, is going to be at a disadvantage outside of that mech suit. Not going to be able to fly up to the top of the shuttle, for example, where Unko, AKM, and Nico are all hanging out at the moment. 90 seconds left is all that CLG has to work with, and they actually used basically everything in that last push, where Rogue actually even saved a nano visor combo. So the ultimate usage is just super clean and efficient from Rogue. CLG gonna have to try something desperate here. Miso already getting a Discord orb, flies up to the top of the shuttle there with Winston, but I don't think they're gonna be able to force anyone back. Even with Primal Rage engaged, it looks like Rogue are holding their ground. Nox has a Primal Rage of his own, smacking up the backline of CLG. There's the nano visor from AKM, finally destroying a Miso's suit and himself, and it's gonna be Rogue hanging on again. Excellent Helix Rocket there from AKM to take out Waffle-tastic.
This is brutal, to be honest. CLG used their one ultimate to get everyone cleared off the top of the shuttle, which is great tactical play there from iShiny and the Primal Rage. Unfortunately, there just wasn't any follow-up after that, and Rogue still haven't used all of their ultimates. I think you called it right, Joshy. The ultimate usage here really is what's setting these teams apart, and Rogue at the moment is being so disciplined and so good at calling out when they're using their ults. It's so tough to get past them.
Yeah, they're just really good at waiting, surviving, and then using the counter ults to clean up the fight. And they've done it, 3 or 4 times, not just on defense here, but offense as well. They just kind of outlast, spread out, run away from the enemy, and then when it's time to hit the button, they sweep them out. So Hydration goes down there even after picking off Tracer and giving possibility of an advantage for CLG. He gets taken out, and suddenly there's only 14 seconds left. The cart is pretty close to CLG, but will they be able to push it any further?
This is looking very difficult indeed. 3 ultimates versus 0 in this final fight. Nico starts things off with an excellent dash kill onto Zenyatta, so already the backline getting pummeled here. And that will be that. Well, the cart didn't really have anyone on it. GGs are called, and Rogue will take game number 1 on Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Okay, game number 1. Well, we didn't have a whole lot of pre-analysis time before the match fired away, but I think you and I both would have predicted Rogue to be the favorites here of the series. That's a pretty good statement from them in the first game, and it is just a best-of-3 series, so right now we're going to be heading to Hollywood as game number 2. Nico collects play of the match honors here for his Genji.
Chopping away. They're looking for the tanks, actually, rather than hunting through the backlines, and that's because AKM managed to do most of that work for him. So the Diva suit, they're not going to punish anyone, and that is, frankly, a very clinical cleanup there from Rogue en route to their victory.
Well, CLG, Counter Logic Gaming, they were a qualifier team. If you guys are unfamiliar with the format of this event, there's 4 groups of 4 teams each. Half of them were invited before the event, and half of them qualified on Tuesday. So CLG and Rise Nation are 2 of those qualifiers. I believe they actually placed first and second in that qualifier as well. So a little bit of a rough draw for them, perhaps, as Rogue expected to win the group. CLG, Rise, and Complexity could go any of those 3 ways. But so far, Rogue, yep, they've showed up and taken care of business there on Gibraltar. Hollywood, very similar map style. So curious to see if CLG is going to shake it up or just try to stick to their guns and play better.
We were certainly expecting Rogue to top the group, right? But that Gibraltar map was just pretty dominant, to be honest, from Rogue. Their attacking round especially was so fast. They had so much time left on the clock. Just the psychological pressure that they put on CLG from the first moment. Very difficult to deal with. CLG, of course, a team that I think is fair to say is continuing to be on the up. They've posted some great results of late, but it looks like at the moment that there is a bit of a level gap to Rogue, and it would be incredible of them to turn that around on Hollywood.
All right, so some tactics that we may see out of CLG here include Pharah Mercy, since Hydration and we talked them up a little bit as having a great Pharah Mercy combo.
Sure.
They did not bring it out on Gibraltar at all, but Hollywood A, you certainly could see it. Hollywood B also is a pretty good stretch for that. So CLG will be attacking first. Rogue are going to be on the defense. I do expect them to keep running the dive plus soldier, or perhaps with Hollywood, because there's a point to capture rather than the full payload, they may actually go to the triple tank plus soldier, but I think Rogue, they're just so dominant on dive. They don't have to switch if they don't want to.
I think you pretty much summed it up there. They really did dominate. One person I would like to call out, though, from Counter Logic Gaming, I thought Miso did a great job on Diva. In several team fights, we saw Diva, I mean, obviously defensive matrix, but successfully shutting down AKM and taking out a couple of the supports as well. Unko in particular was a big target for Miso, who managed to kill him 2 or 3 times before Zenyatta could get to the front line. Every time Diva got through to the supports, it was an interesting fight. Every time Diva didn't get through to the supports, Rogue stomped over the fight. So I wonder if anyone's going to be changing up their strategies in light of that on Gibraltar.
It's interesting. I think CLG, the times that they actually had the most momentum are when they found wins in the backline. It's clear that that was their strategy, was to try to blow up the healers first. But on the other side, Rogue really were just free firing, not actually focusing anything too hard. They were kind of just bouncing from target to target as they came up. So it's interesting. I wonder if the play calling is a bit more frantic for Rogue than CLG. CLG just going in with, kill the healers as quick as you possibly can, with Rogue maybe being a little bit more active, a little bit more communicative. But the problem really for Rogue is that AKM, I think, only died once on defense the entire time. And he obviously was an enormous threat. Every time Tactical Visor came up, it was 2 or 3 easy kills. And he just wasn't pressured that much. And he's just super deadly. So perhaps a little more emphasis on trying to take out AKM specifically could be done. Hydration did a pretty good job with the hook combos onto Soon and Nico here and there, but the rest of the team really needs to help him out with that. And at this point, we don't see Pharah Mercy locked in. It looks like they will be going triple tank plus soldier again. Perhaps that's just a strategical choice against Rogue specifically. They're not confident that they can keep Pharah Mercy alive against AKM soldier, perhaps.
Yeah, continuing with this combo, and to be honest, I feel like the Pharah Mercy is part of what got them here, right? So it would be nice to see them do it. Maybe after the first deaths or onto point 2, they might consider it, but for now, it does look like it's the same composition coming out. So, Joshy, it's Hollywood. Let's get ready to rumble.
There you go. We've got, the door's open now. Soon is actually taking a kind of forward stance here with the Harmony Orb on Tracer, perhaps trying to flank around the back, but Rogue are taking a very far forward defense until they get a look at what they're up against. When they see the couple of tanks, I think this dive composition is going to flex back a little bit toward the point, but now it's up to CLG to figure out what entry route they want to take.
And here we go, Winston up onto the high ground. iShiny and Miso both with a good amount of support, but iShiny actually going out very early on to Nico. The sustained damage is too great from Rogue. Roguehog is getting the orb there, but can't actually get killed off, and that's going to be a problem for CLG. Rogue are managing to stabilize on the point now as a result.
Well, as the first kills start to add up, AKM, Nico, and Soon all getting on the board there. Actually, Miso just got popped out of his suit and then taken out, but it's going to be a regroup regardless for CLG. And Rogue are pushing very far forward again. Soon and Nico, you can pretty much expect to be moving forward every time that they happen to get some kills. But Pulse Bomb already prepared here for Soon in just the first fight. Waffle-tastic getting pretty close to a visor, but AKM is almost at 100%.
Very difficult for V on Zenyatta. There were 3 different Orb of Discord targets that were targeted on Rogue side, and none of them went down. So I feel like that target switching, they just can't quite find those last hits in. Waffle-tastic getting an early pick onto Soon, though, is a great start for CLG. Let's see if they can turn this into a point A hold. iShiny once again going up top, using the shield to try and shut down AKM, but it was only for a couple of seconds. And here comes the tactical visor to try and move everybody off the point. Rogue are going to have to bend back. But look, they're not dying en masse. They might be able to dive back on this.
Oh, Transcendence is going to be committed here. Rogue really do not want to give up point A if they can help it, so they're popping some ults to try and get back in there. Mikado's going to use the sound barrier here to help CLG stay alive, and that should be enough, honestly, against this triple defense. Wins is going to drop a sound barrier there. Only affects 4. Actually, he caught 4 players with that. I'm surprised. I thought he was only going to catch 2. Diva Suit Explosion is used and does kill AKM. It looked like he was just trying to get a new suit back because it was dying off, but he got that soldier kill as well, and CLG are still able to take this point, perhaps. Pulse Bomb goes flying out, does hit Hydration. He's super low on health. Hydration goes down to the follow-up, and they've only secured 2 ticks. Suddenly, Rogue are back in full force. Everyone's alive, and CLG is starting to wither a little bit. Winds goes down, Nox is taken out, and that, again, is a CLG advantage. Transcendence should pick them all back up to full health, and I do expect them to cap here.
This is very back and forth, but that last Transcendence definitely got a lot of momentum CLG's way. Genji's going to have to do something pretty spectacular, but only manages to get 1 before V actually takes him out. Soon now the sole occupant off the point. Will's coming in on Lucio and gets immediately taken down. I want to call so much credit, Joshy, to Nox there, whose last second jump onto the first floor on the attack meant so much, because that was before he used Primal Rage and continued to stall as well. He must have bought a full minute using that as an initiation and knocking Soldier 76 Waffle-tastic off onto the low ground as well. That was just a really nicely timed jump.
Rogues are just experts at sustaining themselves. Honestly, Soon did the same thing. Soon came in as just a Tracer, 150 HP Tracer, came in there, installed for another 15-20 seconds himself, and secured a kill in the mix with that Pulse Bomb. Another Pulse Bomb going on the Waffle-tastic. Soon has Pulse Bombs every time they engage, it seems, but Miso finds Winston there, Nico's down as well, and CLG are going to continue moving forward. Hydration is actually doing a really good job on Roadhog. The fact that he can catch Soon and Nico as often as he is really good for them. AKM going to get caught during the tactical visor as well. Another point for Hydration.
That's a 3 kills before he actually gets caught, though. We need to see a little bit of a regroup from CLG onto the cart itself. Soon, wow, staying alive in the middle of basically 4 bodies for very, very long there. Like you said, Joshy, just very good at anticipating where those guns are going to be pointing and staying alive accordingly. CLG are now halfway through Westworld, and we'll see what Rogue choose to do in response. They will absolutely not give this point up.
Nico moved to Sombra. He was just contesting the cart invisible for a few seconds there. So they are really, really going for that stall out. They do not want CLG to reach that third stretch at all. But the defense is actually spreading out away from the cart right now so that they can set up this sound barrier. Catches all 6 there. So they're going to move right in. Waffle-tastic does have the tactical visor to try and counter it. But all that extra health means only Soon is going to go down. AKM not even needing to use an ult. Gets 3 kills in the mix.
Oh, very nice. And Nico actually managing to hack Lucio as well, en route to killing Winston. That is superb stuff. And they are making this work. Rogue continuing to push CLG back. Minute 45 seconds left. And the health packs as well are going to be working, of course, in Rogue's favor.
Terrific stuff there for Rogue. Even with the Sombra in play, it's a bit of a rarity, but hacking health packs can really kind of hurt these tank compositions that you see CLG moving forward with if they can't reliably get healed up even on their own. And we've got a Primal Rage out here now for iShiny all the way in the back line, but he is totally surrounded. They just collapsed on him quickly, and another Pulse Bomb takes out Waffle-tastic. I think he's been killed by like 6 Pulse Bombs already in this BO3.
It's a bit of a panic move there, Joshy. iShiny jumped straight on top of the saloon, thinking, right, I'm going to knock 1 or 2 people down. Spotted 3 people, panicked, popped Primal Rage straight away, just dropped back down. But by now, he was surrounded by 5 people. Very difficult situation to be in, and unfortunately, he lost an ult as a result.
Yeah, it was maybe an overcommittal. I'm not too sure, what...
Yeah, he just didn't need to pop the ult, basically.
Gotcha. So just desperation, and it means that they're going to approach the cart here with Transcendence and Whole Hog. Sound Barrier is also about to be ready, but Rogue are pretty good on their ultimates as well. AKM could actually launch that Tac Visor from the high ground at any point. Miso has lost his Diva suit now, so he's got even more range to go free. But AKM going to find the kill on Winston. There's the Tac Visor we mentioned, and he's shooting freely from the high level there. EMP is going to go out as well and just reduces all the defenses of CLG's attackers. AKM just mass killing things, has 4 killing blows just for this bout, and Nico gets on the board as well with that Sombra. 20 seconds left for CLG.
This has been a little bit of a Sombra masterclass. I'm not going to lie here, Joshy. Nico's been all over the place. Saving the EMP, by the way, because he managed to hack 3 people in that team fight. Who needs the automatic EMP when you have it on manual? Wow.
All right, well, at this point, 3 seconds left, and only iShiny is on the card. They haven't blown him up yet. Sound Barrier goes out, but only catches 3 members of CLG Hydration. Looks like he ate a Pulse Bomb, perhaps. Most of his life went away at the same time. Miso, the Explosion catches 2 DPS players. That's pretty great. There, Unko's on the retreat here with his Zoom Yada, trying to stay alive with AKM, and the cart is going to move quite a bit, but there's actually plenty of time here for Rogue to contest at the checkpoint if they want to.
All right, well, a little bit of an unexpected victory there, according to Rogue. Anyway, CLG managing to come back fighting, and they are very close to getting the second checkpoint now. Primal Rage immediately getting popped there from Nox, who tries and beat everyone off, but he can't actually knock all of the players off the cart, and now Wins is a little bit isolated with the Discord Orb Bomb as well. The kills are going CLG's way. They will make it to the final stretch.
In overtime at that, excellent recoup there. The very final fight in the second stretch gave them the momentum they needed to actually win that next one as they had the ultimates prepared. But now iShiny Primal Rage is the only tool they have left. Distance is really all that matters here for CLG. They do not want to overextend. They only have really 60 seconds to get as far as they can. Look how much time it takes to actually just get the cart through the door. That's like 25 seconds they can't even count on. Hydration, moving over to the Tracer, actually did benefit them quite a lot in that second stretch. I'm curious to see if that'll keep going.
Sound Barrier to start things off here soon, grabbing a double kill, just racing around on Tracer, looking for the backlines, managing to get Zenyatta, and also taking Baby Diva out, who had the Discord Orb on her. And that is a very clean fight with the rest of the team actually disengaging here. 42 seconds, 1 fight, possibly 2 if they die quickly, I suppose, left for CLG to get the cart all the way to the end.
Well, Rogue, as they grab it back, they have a couple of ults to work with. Soon has been pretty surgical with those Pulse Bombs. He takes out Waffle-tastic without it this time. AKM has that Tactical Visor ready to go as well. And another EMP, actually EMP plus Tactical Visor should be a death sentence here for CLG, as they still have Diva and Winston unable to be able to do anything once they get hit by that EMP. 14 seconds left. This is the last attempt for CLG.
And here we go, 10 seconds. Oh, an EMP to start off the engagement. All of a sudden, all of your abilities, they absolutely know. And that is a bloodbath in favor of Rogue right now. Baby Diva goes flying. Transcendence icing on the cake here. And this will be the end of the first half.
Emotes all around. Nico takes a bow there, sitting in the Unko Transcendence, but great play from Rogue once again. And credit to CLG getting all the way through that second stretch. Did not look like it was going to be possible the way that Rogue were playing. So credit to them to getting that third stretch, but it's going to take a really monstrous defense here. The way that Rogue have been playing, CLG were pretty much bulldozed on Gibraltar defense. It's a little bit of a different animal. Obviously on Hollywood Point A, you can set up a lot better. You can be a little bit more calculated with where your positioning and things are compared to Rogue's dive. But yeah, Rogue, they're just killers. AKM found so many kills without Tactical Visor. Soon, in that very last fight, I had to laugh again because Soon pulse bombed Waffletastic. That's like 7 or 8 pulse bomb deaths for Waffletastic. Every time goes straight for the soldier.
Yeah, it's maybe it's a reflection of how good AKM is, where they go, all right, if you get a pulse bomb, just find the soldier, sticky the soldier, will be fine. Don't even worry about it. And I think he hit Waffletastic twice, I believe, through Transcendence as well. It's like, don't even care. Get rid of soldier. And life's a little bit painful if you're Waffletastic right now, man.
Yeah, unfortunate for CLG. This is actually, you know, potentially the end of this BO3 if they can't hold up well against Rogue. They'll be starting off 0-1 in the group, and this is a round robin group. Again, the other teams, if you've just joined us, are the Rise Nation and Complexity, and they are actually, I believe, playing their match right now off stream, but we will obviously be able to bring you guys results and things throughout the day. We're starting here with Group A. We will move into Group B, Jorisar and I, and then later today, Storm and CT Hirix are going to be bringing you Groups C and D. So thanks everyone for coming to check out the Rivalcade Rumble. This is just the first BO3, and we've already got some great games here. Rogue are going to be on the attack this time with their full dive comp, and CLG, again, triple tank plus soldier.
Well, let's see if they can do any better than on Gibraltar. They will need to pick it up from that if they want to be able to hold a very strong Rogue team right now as they come out of the gate soon, trying to scout everyone ASAP. And he has been one of the MVPs on Tracer. AKM, though, we do have to call him out. He seems to be unable to die and always gets 3 to 4 kills with those tactical visors every time they're bestowed upon him. So hanging back at the moment, CLG taking quite a conservative approach. Rogue looking for the initial pick.
Yeah, that's part of Rogue's power, actually. Soon, AKM are both deadly monsters, and then if you focus on them too much, Nico just shows up on Genji and blades everyone to death. So the triple threat coming out from Rogue is super scary, and all the supports and Nox are able to keep themselves alive very well. So it's just very difficult to, you know, break that shell that they have. But on the defense here, Hydration hits the hook combo, but Nico actually has time to deflect as Hydration gets powered down by AKM. There's another quick kill, excuse me, for Rogue as they continue pressing in here. It's 3-0 at this point, and Rogue seem to have secured A already in the first fight.
That play was beautiful from Rogue. Waiting, like, they know they're the better team, but they're still waiting patiently, looking for that initial pick. And did you notice, Joshy, the moment Nico got hooked, you could almost hear their team comms going, I'm hooked, and about 4 players turned around and focused Hydration ASAP, and the hook combo couldn't even finish. That's some great communication coming out of there from Rogue, and you could see it in that fight.
We've got the Rogue offense pushing forward here, but CLG with the triple tank actually just push forward together to try to avoid losing anyone early on. And
Soon just missed the pulse bomb. Guess who? On Waffletastic.
Of course he was going for Waffletastic. If you can remove the soldier every fight, AKM's going to have so much more room to work as well. So iShiny going to dive onto the cart now. All the tanks actually trying to push forward here, but AKM already pops D.Va out of her suit. There is Nico actually trying to escape it back to his teammates, but the range damage from Unko actually kills Roadhog. Wins and Soon both get in on the action, and CLG just cannot find any kills.
Soon stayed alive for that entire fight. In the middle of it, 150 hit point Tracer must have done more than 1,000 damage during that team fight, and somehow managed to just consistently avoid the shots. This is incredible stuff coming out from him.
Well, already pushing forward, you see Soon trying to block that spawn door. Wins is alone on the cart here as Lucio just trying to single push it, but we've got a nano boost here for Mikado again. Why has Mikado got the boost? This is a problem, CLG. D.Va Suit Explosion goes out, Nico goes down, but he already took out Ana. Mikado's down now as well. CLG have no supports against this tactical visor. Actually, Waffletastic is going to be using the tactical visor a bit late and actually does not get any kills with it without those supports. So CLG just error after error on this defense, and Rogue are going to, of course, capitalize on it.
I feel bad for Hydration. He now got a hook onto Soon, and again couldn't complete the hook combo. And this is on a Tracer. He must be so sad right now.
He's probably pretty sad, but at least they're going to be able to play some other matches in this group. Complexity and Rise Nation could still allow them to get out of the group.
The hope is real. The hope is real.
There's 3.5 minutes here for Rogue in the second stretch, but CLG have regained the card.
Yeah, they managed to pop out there and stabilize. Waffle-tastic managed to come out at the same time as Miso and just staggering Rogue back. There wasn't like a huge number of kills. Rogue just chose to disengage, but I think that was absolutely the correct choice. Here comes Soon. And again, pulse bomb, Waffle-tastic. This is painful. Getting a second kill onto Miso as well and picking off V for the sake of it. That is another team kill. And in case you were wondering whether Rogue would get to point 3, here's your answer. No one was wondering that, by the way.
Yeah, they were all curious, Jorisar. No one actually could know ahead of time.
Everyone
but we have
both
supports for Rogue are on fire. That's not a great thing here for CLG. They need to be killing the supports a lot more often. But Diva Suit Explosion goes out. Miso gets flopped as he pops out of the suit. So Rogue are going to continue rolling through here, and that's a really rough stagger for CLG. In fact, because the parking spot is so close, this final area that they have to reach to win the map, and they're already up 1-0 in the series. So someone needs to touch that cart right now, John.
Oh my god, AKM, the soul pusher on the cart just for a sec, but they managed to come back in. Waffle-tastic now with the nano boost, but he gets focused down so quickly. AKM, who else? Getting credit for that kill. Hydration, though, managing to pick things up, and it looks like CLG are going to be stabilizing a little bit. Primal Rage is going to be very awkward for them, but it is more or less Nox and nobody else right now, so this does give them an opportunity to hop back. And Miso, by the way, has switched on to Zarya. We are out of Diva, which is an excellent thing, because saying Miso Suit and Miso Soup is really confusing.
Nico has the Dragon Blade ready to go. AKM is basically on Tac Visor. There it is now. And Sound Barrier is available on both sides. So Rogue definitely have the ultimate advantage. They're going to engage with everything all at once because they know they just have to win this one fight. Everything is being committed. Hydration is the first one down. There's a Transcendence from Unko as well. And Rogue seem to be powering people down. AKM has plenty of room to just shoot free and clear. And that CLG crumpling once again. Rogue will take the series at 2-0.
A great, I suppose, penultimate fight from CLG there, and we did see a lot of resistance, shall we say. They won a couple of isolated team fights, but they weren't able to string them together, Joshy, and that seems to be what was separating them in terms of results. Really, in Rogue, I mean, their communication and their use of ultimates were both just so good. On Gibraltar defense especially, they were using 2 ultimates to wipe 4 or 5 most of the time. It was unbelievably good, and poor Waffle-tastic getting himself featured in play of the game once again to a pulse bomb.
Well, we've got Soon literally just hitting pulse bomb after pulse bomb on Waffle-tastic. He barely got to play the game as that series just goes soundly to Rogue. But don't go anywhere, guys. Rogue are actually staying in the lobby because our next match is going to be Rogue versus Rise Nation BO3.
Yeah, so CLG not quite able to make a dent in Rogue at the moment. Again, the isolated couple of fights looked really good. Their first one on Watchpoint Gibraltar, for example, looked great, but oh my god, the momentum after that was disgusting in Rogue's favor. At the end of Westworld as well on Hollywood, I thought CLG had a couple of really nice engaging team fights, but ultimately I feel like the combination of Soon and AKM was just disgusting, and Unko chiming in with so many kills on his Zenyatta as well proved to be a little bit too much. The last time they met, of course, was in the Overwatch Pit Championship. They were in the upper bracket round of 4. Rogue won that 2-0 as well, and here in the Overwatch Rumble in Group A, it is also a 2-0 scoreline. But like Joshy said before, it's a round-robin group, and all of the teams are going to be playing each other, with the top 2 going to the final bracket stages, so they're not out of it yet.
All right, so Rise Nation up next on the docket here for Rogue, and at this point, obviously Rogue sitting in first place of the group. It's only 6 matches total for each group, and Rise Nation, again, are a qualified team. We played the qualifiers on Tuesday and got half of our teams that way with Gale Forest, Tempo Storm. You guys get paid. Envision Esports also coming through the qualifier, as well as NRG, and I believe it was Splice grabbing that last spot. Or was it Team Liquid? Or who was it?
Team Liquid came through.
Gotcha. I believe so. Okay, so that is it for the first match, but should we actually cut to a short break here while we get Rise Nation in here? Okay, so we're not going to
starting. Yeah, we should be starting soon. So hopefully they'll have the we'll have the maps reasonably quickly here.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll keep on rolling. I'm There are a couple of puns that I really almost said miso soup once. I'm pretty glad I didn't.
I mean, miso soup is not the worst slip that you
definitely
could
not.
have had, for sure. Either way, thank you so much. We've got 7,000 people actually